Folks, this is Brendan Ingram, and this is your June the 29th, 2020 Monday Night Raw review. Folks, y'all just don't know. I am losing. I am slowly losing interest in Monday Night Raw. Slowly. Because of the garbage that I have been seeing for the last 3-4 weeks on this show. The garbage that I've been seeing on this show the last 3-4 weeks. Absolutely ridiculous. All because of Vince, all because of one person, and that's Vince McMahan. Vince McMahon thinking he's God, acting like God. Chairman of WWE, acting like God. That's the problem with Vince McMahon. He thinks he's God. He's not God. He needs to stop acting like God. Holy moly, man. So, folks, before we get started into this Monday Night Raw review, I just want to say this show was disgraceful. This show was disappointing, and I got a whole lot more words to say. It was not only disgraceful, but this show feels more like disrespectful to me. This show was disrespectful. Vince McMahon just does not care about his employees. He doesn't care about his WWE Performance Center recruit trainees wearing masks. He doesn't care about the Monday Night Raw and SmackDown shows. Why is he caring about the NXT shows? What is he doing on NXT? That's what I want to know. Even though this is not the NXT review, what is he doing on NXT? Why has he been involved with NXT the last 3 weeks? Oh, because that's right. Because he wasn't unhappy with NXT. Oh, well, guess what? He's got a target on his back because the USA Network are not happy with Vince McMahon firing Paul Heyman. Still not happy with that. And I don't blame him. The man's a freaking idiot, man. Seriously. He's an idiot. As a fan, as a future pro wrestling podcaster, I was embarrassed to be watching this fucking show. Embarrassed. Absolutely embarrassed to be watching this show. I was absolutely embarrassed last night. I was absolutely embarrassed watching this show. I seen the video clips. I've seen the Monday Night Raw video clips on WWE's YouTube channel, and I was not impressed with the show at all, whatsoever. I only watched a few video clips, and that's it. I've watched the Raw highlights. I've watched everything. This show was awful. There was no creativity in this show. Nothing creative about this show. Just like last Friday Night SmackDown, there was nothing creative about that show, and there was certainly nothing creative about this show. Now, when Paul Heyman was executive director, there was a lot of things creative about the shows when Paul Heyman was executive director. Some, not all of them though, some. But now, he's not executive director, obviously, because Vince McMahon fired him. So now, there's never going to be nothing creative about none of these shows. Because of Vince McMahon. His creative ideas are absolutely terrible. Are absolutely terrifying these shows. They're absolutely terrifying, these shows. Absolutely terrifying. Oh, and he's not the only one that's ruining Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. His good old buddy, Bruce, is ruining the show too. He's writing Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, and clearly He is very garbage at writing them because this show last night absolutely sucked. So folks, anyways, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button and turn on all bell for notifications to never miss all of my wrestling breaking news videos that I upload and release on my YouTube channel. And to never miss my Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, and NXT reviews that I do every week. Weekly. They're always weekly on my channel. I do them every week to try to give you all the best reviews. Obviously, this one is not going to be because how sucked the show was last night, how terrifying this show was. Just got through explaining that. This show is like throwing a brick at somebody's head. That's how bad this freaking show was. Folks, follow me on Twitter. My Twitter name's Brendan the Mud Ingram. Follow me on Twitter. Like my Facebook page. Follow me on Twitch. And most importantly, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this review because I am absolutely ready to get this bullshit out the way. I'm ready to get this fucking shit show out the way. So, last night's Raw opens up with Sasha Banks and Bayley brawling Asuka in the ring as Samoa Joe, Meditator, in the ring. Really? Meditator in the ring for the contract signing. So it calls for officials to help. Why? First of all, why would they have two contract signings at the same time? Why? Folks, Extreme Rules is July the 19th. Drew McIntyre, hold on, actually no, not Drew McIntyre. Sasha Banks and Asuka's contract signing should have been this Monday. Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre's signing should have been next Monday. Why was both of those signings this Monday? Why was both of those signings last night? Why? Why did they have both contract signings last night? I'm going to say this, I'm going to repeat this again, I'm going to rephrase this again. Asuka and Sasha's contract signing should have been last night instead of both signings. Yeah, Asuka and Sasha Banks signing should have been last night. Drew McIntyre and the WWE Champion Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler's contract signing should have been next Monday. Not this Monday coming up. Should have been next Monday. But all of a sudden, WWE decides to go on ahead and do both of these contract signings, which makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. Period. So, the referees run down and clear the ring. Because they called for officials to help, apparently. Probably wasn't even enough officials from watching the fucking show. This double contract signing didn't make no sense. There should have been one contract signing instead of two. This didn't make no sense whatsoever. Well, that's all part of Bruce's strategic plan, right? Right? Bruce's strategic plan, right? That was his plan. This was all part of Bruce and Vince McMahon's work. Just had to make the show look terrible, didn't you, Bruce? Didn't you, Bruce? Just had to make the show look terrible, didn't you, Vince McMahon and Bruce? Joe welcomes us to the show. It says that the idea was for a contract signing. But as he's talking, Banks and Bayley rush into the ring and attack Asuka again. He calls for the officials and they help separate the woman again. Just as Joe is talking, he gets interrupted by Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler, clearly, you know who this guy is. If you don't know, I'll explain. Dolph Ziggler is a guy that actually came from Monday Night Raw. He was traded for AJ Styles. He was traded to Raw. And basically, AJ Styles got traded to SmackDown. That was a terrible trade. That was a garbage, terrible trade. So, with Dolph Ziggler, not only were they able to get Dolph Ziggler to Raw, but they also got Rude and Ali to Raw. First of all, I want to know why they traded Ali to Raw. Ali didn't need to go to Raw. Ali was one of the best superstars on the SmackDown roster. One of the best high-flying superstars. Anyway, he was once known as the Heart of 205 Live. But anyways, the point is, why would they trade Roode and Ziggler to Raw when the Raw Tag Team division is already struggling? Doesn't make sense. Makes sense, do it. No, to me it does not make sense. Does it make sense to you all? I'm pretty sure you'll say no too. Yeah, I think you all would say no. Huh, some of these clowns on Twitter would probably disagree. Psh, fuck them. Fuck these clowns on Twitter. Nobody gives a shit about them. Yeah, I'll be laughing if they go around looking like a bunch of fucking bananas hanging on a fucking tree. Because that's exactly what they gonna look like at the end of the day on Twitter. They're gonna be looking like a bunch of fucking pigs. Anyways, I don't know why Ziggler and Rude got traded to Raw. No sense in trading another tag team to Raw when clearly the tag team division on Raw is struggling and are having problems. Tag team division on Raw has been absolutely terrible. Just like the women's division. Well, the reason why the women's division has been terrible because the so-called android, well, she is an android because she's on television every week. Clearly, they can't stop putting her on television. Well, surprisingly, Charlotte wasn't on television. Yes! 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 Thank God. Just saying. She's been on television long enough. Time for her to take an extended break from WWE. Bye-bye, Charlotte. For now. Anyways. So, yeah. That trade didn't make any sense. Traded Dolph Ziggler. Oh, let me guess, Vince McMahon. So you traded Dolph Ziggler to Raw just to put him in the title picture for Drew McIntyre's WWE Championship. You traded him to Raw just to put him in the title picture. What kind of sense does that make? Dolph Ziggler has never earned a title shot at Drew McIntyre's WWE Championship to fucking begin with. Really. Unreal. Unreal. Anyways. So, Joe sarcastically welcomes Dolph, who then introduces the WWE Champion Drew McIntyre as the most ungrateful man in the world. You want to know who's ungrateful? It's not Drew McIntyre, it's fucking Dolph Ziggler. Wait a minute though. You want to know who else is ungrateful? Vince McMahon! The fucking, the chairman of WWE who apparently thinks he's God. But he's not. I can tell you that much. I think it's funny that he thinks he's God, but he's not. He's really not. He's just not. Anyways, Asuka and McIntyre sit on one side of Joe, while Ziggler, Bayley, and Banks sit on the other side. Dolph starts the double contract signing and asks where Drew would be without him. He says he would be telling anyone who would listen that he was the chosen one. And while he was shuffling around the indies trying to find himself, he was in WWE carrying monsters like him on his back. This program should have been shut down last night if we all should have known that this show was going to be absolute garbage. Anyways, he says he would be telling anyone who would listen that he was the chosen one. And while he was shuffling around the indies trying to find himself, I think I've already read that, he was in WWE carrying monsters like him on his back. He knows what it takes to be champion. I think I've already read that part too. I just read it again in case nobody didn't hear me. He also know that Drew isn't sure he can do it. Ziggler says he's going to keep getting back up, no matter how many times Drew kicks him. And that 19-year redemption story of Drew vanishes. Oh, really? Well, sometimes I wish WWE would vanish. Bad as these shows been lately. Yeah. He created McIntyre, and at Extreme Rules Hard Show, he will destroy him. No. Vince McMahon and Bruce is going to destroy Extreme Rules, because Extreme Rules is going to be nothing more than main roster garbage. All these pay-per-views they're doing this year is going to be nothing more than main roster garbage. Just you watch. All these other pay-per-views they got coming up, guarantee you they're not going to be good shows. They're not going to be good pay-per-views at all. Except for the NXT pay-per-views, of course. Ziggler signs the contract and hands it to McIntyre, who is on his feet. The champion signs the page and sits back down. To you clowns that think Dolph Ziggler's going to win in Extreme Rules, but he's not. So, you all can comment your clown emojis all you freaking want to. Really don't give a shit. Shit on your fucking pants, I'll be laughing. He says those were some passionate words from Dolph. There was a time when they were like brothers. And it's time, or it's true, he was fired, because it's one that said time. During that time, well, it did. I was right. During that time, he went through hell, physically and mentally, to become the man he is. But now he's the man, and that's something Dolph has never been. Oh, really? That's something you've never been for 6 years. Or actually, maybe more than 6 years. Every time he gets closer to the finish line, he drops the ball. I wish they would have put he drops the bell. It'd be so funny. At Extreme Rules, he's going to slaughter Dolph. But seriously, that'd be so funny if they put he drops the bell. He drops the fucking bell! No, I'm just kidding. Just joking. I'm kidding. Seeing as they were like family, he'll let Dolph choose the stipulation. So Dolph starts to talk, but Asuka interrupts in Japanese, which I loved that. I love how Asuka interrupts Dolph Ziggler. Good. Don't allow Dolph Ziggler to talk, because he talks way too much now when he's in the ring. Anyways, she starts ranting at Banks and Bayley. Sasha says she isn't the same person Asuka faced before. She is the boss, the leader, the blueprint, and the conversation. And after she beats Asuka, she will be 2 belts Banks. 2 belts Banks. Folks, now, does that sound like that makes sense to you? No, it don't really make sense to me. But, anyways. And her and Bayley as double champs. They will be taking over the whole damn company. The contract is signed and Asuka attacks them. Dolph swings a super kick, but Drew grabs it. Then looks for a claymore, but Ziggler rolls out. Ziggler was that close to getting claymored, I tell you that much. Asuka and Drew are left standing in the ring, holding their title. high. So they were holding their titles high. Yeah, folks, this show was terrible. This was already a terrible start to the show. First of all, number one, why are they continuously having Sasha Banks and Bayley shown up on WWE television on Raw? Number two, Sasha Banks and Bayley are not Monday Night Raw women's superstars. They are SmackDown women's superstars. Not Raw women's superstars. And number three, why would they put Dolph Ziggler in the title picture in the first place, knowing he's not suitable for Drew McIntyre's championship. He's not a perfect opponent for Drew McIntyre. He was never a perfect opponent for Drew McIntyre from the get-go. I think Randy Orton, and I agree with JD from NY when he said this on his Off the Script. I agree with him. I think Randy Orton would be Drew McIntyre's opponent. In my opinion, I think Randy Orton would be a perfect opponent for Drew McIntyre's title. They take the title off Drew McIntyre, put it on Randy Orton. Edge comes back. Randy drops the title to Edge. Put the title on Edge. Make him look great. But I think Drew McIntyre still deserves that title. Drew McIntyre does not deserve to drop his title to anybody yet. Drew McIntyre's reign, I think, should still continue. But I know someone's reign that won't continue for long, and that's Apollo Crews' reign as United States Champion. Apollo Crews was on the show. He was on the show. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. He was on the show. But anyways, yep, Asuka and Drew hold their titles high. So then we got a replay of last Monday when Andrade and Garza attacked the tag team champions. So you mean to tell me that Angel Garza and Andrade are next in line for the Street Profits Raw Tag Team Champions? So they're next in line to challenge the Street Profits for the Raw Tag Team Champions. Let's talk about it. So, Garza's backstage trying to pay referee Jess with a rose. She doesn't buy it, walks off, leading to Charlie Caruso asking them what they're doing. Vega says, trying to ensure fair officiating. Charlie asks if they win tonight, do they think they're number one contenders? Andrade says yes, but Big Show walks up and says he needs Smurfit to tell Maserati and Ferrari that he's pulling rank and he's heading out there next to deal with Randy Orton. Oh God, it's the Big Show, more like the Big Slow. Sorry, JD, I tried to do what you did, but I don't think I did it right. But anyways, so we got, hang on. So we got the Big Show, folks. A fucking Hall of Famer that WWE called up to Monday Night Raw. What I want to know is, first of all, why is Monday Night Raw bringing back Hall of Famers on Monday Night Raw? Why? So they can fuck up the fucking ratings like they're doing now? Like they've done ever since last week, talking about the Big Show and Ric Flair? And now, there's talks that Brock Lesnar could be coming back and Drew McIntyre could be dropping the title to him, which I don't want to happen. Oh, Lord. And then it's going to start, and then the chapter of Brock Lesnar is going to start all over again. The era of the Beast. It's going to start all over again. I hope not. Paul Heyman's not going to, it's not going to sit happy with Paul Heyman either. Because Paul Heyman wanted Drew McIntyre as champion. Drew McIntyre is one of the reasons, Paul Heyman's one of the reasons why Drew McIntyre is the WWE champion. Apollo Crews. As far as Apollo Crews goes, Paul Heyman was also the reason why Apollo Crews was United States champion. Paul Heyman was also the reason why Asuka was Raw Women's champion. Paul Heyman was also the reason why Shayna Baszler and Bianca Belair got their pushes on the main roster. But I don't think Bianca Belair really got her push on the main roster. Oh, and speaking of the two, where's Shayna Baszler? Where's Bianca Belair? They're nowhere to be seen on television. Nowhere to be seen on television. Nowhere. Yet to be seen. The answer has yet to be unknown. Why Shayna Baszler and Bianca Belair are not on television. You mean to tell me instead of Shayna Baszler and Bianca Belair, we get Big Show and Ric Flair on television? Dude, that is so not cool. 21. Well, I am 21, but seriously, that is so not cool. It really isn't. That's just fucking wrong. Vince McMahon rather have Ric Flair and Big Show on television than Shayna Baszler and Bianca Belair. That is fucking wrong. You're a young talent. You rather have old Hall of Famers on the show than your NXT talent that got called up to the main roster? Holy fuck, man. I'm telling you, something is really going on with Bruce Prichard and Vince McMahon, man. They're not thinking straight. They're in their 70s. And WWE has these guys in their 70s writing and creating these shows. Writing these shows using their own creativity. Why you got guys like that writing these shows? Why? For what? So they can fuck up the ratings? Like they're doing? Like they've been doing the last few months? Fuck it. I'm not even going to talk about it anymore. Anyways, moving on with the Monday Night Raw review. So the Big Show is pacing around the ring when they return from the first official commercial break, so to speak. He calls for Randy Orton to come out and says he owes him a promise. Andrade, Angel Garza, and Selena Vega come out. Oh, good God. You got to be fucking kidding me. You got to be fucking kidding me. Here, what I'm about to tell y'all at the end of this is really going to piss a lot of you off, and it has pissed me off already. It's been pissed me off since the beginning, since I've watched this show last night. Boy, I'm not, this show, but I will say this though, this show, Monday night, more like Monday Night Garbage, more like this show right here. This show. It's the main show that makes you want to pick up that fucking remote control so bad, so freaking bad, itching for that remote control to change the goddamn channel. Because of people like this on television. Because of people like Big Show on television. Ruining the ratings. I think it's funny that he's on television ruining the ratings. It's one thing to laugh at it, but it's another thing to say, no, it's not funny, because he's actually ruining the ratings. I can see those clowns on Twitter laughing now. He's ruining the ratings. He's it's ruining the ratings. Nobody cares. Yeah. That's because nobody cares about you clowns on Twitter that are constantly commenting stuff that don't make sense. Really. Unreal. Unreal. So, Andrade, Angel Garza, and Selena Vega, they come out instead. Big Show says he is sorry. He interrupts them, but they shouldn't try him right now. See, this is how you know this show was bad. This is how you know that this show was utterly garbage. Right here. So Andrade says that Randy Orton says Big Show is a legend. Well, at least Andrade did speak English, about time. And he laughs. So the Big Show tells him he has boots older than him and that he'll knock him out. So then Garza says there is only one of him. The Big Show says he can stand on Andrade's shoulders if he wants to look in his eyes. Vega says they're not going to do Randy Orton a favor. Or if they're going to do Randy Orton a favor and show everyone what happens when they disrespect them, I would be surprised if they should say, I'll be surprised if they say they weren't going to do Randy Orton a favor. I'll be surprised if they say that. If they say they weren't going to do Randy Orton a favor, that would surprise Randy Orton. That would take Randy Orton by surprise. If they did. Just imagine. So she says Big Show's days are numbered. And he can say hey to Edge and Christian in the retirement home. Well, dang, they just played him on that one. Big Show didn't like that. As Garza and Andrade are climbing on the apron, Ric Flair's music hits, and out comes the Hall of Famer. A Hall of Famer that should not be on WWE television. Clearly, he's not a Raw talent. He's not a manager. So what is Ric Flair doing on the show? Why is he on the show? What the fuck's he doing? Ric Flair, the fuck are you doing on the show, man? What are you doing on the show? You're not even supposed to be on the show. See, Vince McMahon needs to stop booking people like this on the show. You're booking a 70-something-year-old Ric Flair on the show. Really? Really? What does a 7-year-old Ric Flair do on the show? He does nothing but ruin the ratings. Just like Big Show. Just like these storylines. Just like these terrible storylines you got going on Raw that's ruining the Raw and SmackDown ratings. Unreal. Rick stands on the stage and says he has lots of respect for Vega and her man. Her man. Her man. That's like that song. I wanna be your man. I wanna be your man. Anyways. But he said he needs to have a word with his old friend, the legendary Big Show. Rick says nobody is going to determine Big Show's career more than Randy. Orton will come out whenever he feels like it. He says Big Show has been making cartoons on Netflix, and that's great. More like Ric Flair, your promos are more like cartoon WWE typical garbage. Anyways. He's had his run. He shouldn't play with Orton, though, because he'll be on the outside looking in Flair. Then tells Vega to send her men in to have fun at Show's expense. Ric Flair's promo was absolutely terrible. I did not like Ric Flair's promo at all. See, this is why WWE needs to stop calling up Hall of Famers to the roster. Half of them are not even good with their promos. Even Big Show himself is not good with his promos in the ring. He's good with wrestling, but he's not good with promos. To me, he's actually terrible at what he does in the ring. I think that's sort of like the Universal Champion Braun Strowman. Anyways, Before they can get into the ring, the Viking Raiders run down and brawl with Andrade and Garza. Their match should be after the break. I don't get why they booked this tag team match between Andrade, Angel Garza, and the Viking Raiders. Can somebody please rephrase that? Can somebody please answer my question and rephrase this? Answer this. Why did they book Andrade and Angel Garza versus the Viking Raiders? Oh, you mean to tell me because they're the only tag team on Monday Night Raw? Actually, no, they're not. The Street Profits. Oh, and now you got Rude and Ziggler. Now you can add... that's a tag team added to the Raw Tag Team Division list right there. Oh, you still got the team of Sean Thorne and Brennan Vink. Not to mention, you got the newly formed team of Bobby Lashley and MVP. Oh, Lord. MVP, WWE's typical garbage. That's what I call him, because I don't like him. Oh, yeah. MVP, the one that said that his son was Rey Mysterio's fan and not his own father's fan. Ha! That's funny. His son is not even a fan of his own father. Ha! That's really funny. Oh man, that's funny. Anyways. I wish I had that sound that JD's got on his phone, where I could play that freaking sound. Dude, speaking of sound, I could really use a funny sound right about now. So I'm going to pull up the match that took place on Monday Night Raw, the tag team match that took place on Monday Night Raw, which I was absolutely not interested in watching whatsoever. I am not interested in the Raw Tag Team Division anymore. At this point, I'm losing interest in WWE, period, as a whole. I'm just ready to stop watching the product. The shows are not looking good. And you could see that JD hasn't even done his podcast off the script review. He hasn't even done his Monday Night Raw review yet because of how garbage this freaking show was last night. And I don't blame him. I really don't blame JD from NY206. I really don't blame him. I wouldn't even be doing my Monday Night Raw reviews right about now. Come to think of it, I'm doing this review for you guys, for everybody that wants to know what happened with Monday Night Raw. Of course, it's my job, but still. If I didn't want to do a Monday Night Raw review, I wouldn't do it. If I say I didn't want to do it, I ain't gonna do it. But if I say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. That's just it. I'm trying to explain it to where it can make sense to y'all. If I'm not making sense, I'm sorry. Sometimes I can't even comprehend what I say. So, you have to watch for that sometimes. So, here is what happened with this match between the Viking Raiders, Andrade, and Angel Garza. So the match was underway with Eric and Garza as they returned from break, apparently. Vega has joined the commentary team. Eric shuts down a quick rally and slams Garza. Eric tags Ivar, and they team to drill Garza with knees. Ivar beats Garza in the corner and tags Eric again. More quick tags. Ivar grinds Garza down with a submission, and Eric body slams Eric. No, Eric actually body slams Garza onto him. Andrade tags in, but gets knocked off the apron. Garza uses the pants as a distraction, and Andrade attacks Eric from behind. Andrade stomps Eric, then tags Garza to do some double team. Eric drops Garza with a right hand. Andrade tags himself in and hits a running knee to Garza. Or to Eric. Excuse me. I don't know what Ringside News have written on their site, man. They misspelling stuff when they write stuff. Sometimes my sources on ringsidenews.com, they kind of misspell stuff sometimes when they're writing Monday Night Raw and SmackDown and NXT on their sites. They kind of misspell stuff. So if I misspell something wrong, I'm sorry. Try to help me correct it, or I'll just correct it myself. But anyways, Eric drops Garza with a right hand. Andrade tags himself in and hits a running knee to Eric. Andrade shouts at Vega that he's done and starts to leave. She runs to meet him on the ramp, tries to talk some sense into him. And they were in a commercial break, so back live and things are normal again, with Garza beating Eric into the corner. Vega denies any problems on commentary. Andrade tags in and continues the beating, but Eric fires back and tags Ivor. Garza comes in, but Ivor drops him and hits a running crossbody, cartwheels past Andrade, clotheslines him, and hits Garza with a seated senton. Ivor hits a handspring, but Garza drop kicks him in the back. Eric tags back in, and they hit Garza with a powerbomb, and Andrade slam at the same time. They look for the Viking experience to Andrade, and he escapes and hits a discus elbow to Eric. Garza tags in and hits the wing clipper to Eric for the win. After the win, Andrade walks off after the match, not celebrating with his teammate. Wonder why. So then, after the tag team match, Ruby Wyatt, folks. Ruby Wyatt. A woman that we have not seen on television for months. Matter of fact, she was on television last week when Liv Morgan lost her match against... Who was it she lost her match against? The Iconics. Am I right? She lost her match against the Iconics! The Moronics! The Idiotics! The ones that I don't like seeing on TV, Onyx. Anyways. So Ruby Riott was on her phone backstage when Peyton and Billy walk up and make fun of her. They call her a freak, and she has no friends. They say she has no friends. They call Liv a loser as well. And Ruby says she zoned out for a second. That they were the ones who blew their opportunity last week. Ruby says one of them can meet her out there, and the other can lift the partner up and carry them to the back, and that will be iconic. That certainly was iconic what she said, though. Zelina Vega's backstage with her men, who are at each other's throats. Ric Flair walks up and congratulates them for their win, then asks if he can speak privately because he has a proposition Oh my God. So next on the show was the 24/7 championship match. Yep. I even feel embarrassed to be reading to you all what happened with this 24/7 championship match. I can't even have the words to describe it right now. I feel so bad. of all, let's go back to Andrade and Garza. Aren't Andrade and Garza supposed to be the next team in line for the tag team titles? Of course. How counterproductive can be these people fucking be? Really? On top of that, you had them beat the Raiders earlier. So does nobody realize that makes them look bad as well? Just like it made the Viking Raiders bad when they lost to the Street Profits. And the Street Profits beat them. Really. Unreal. Question. Is Ruby Riot's contract up again? Because WWE seemingly is not really doing nothing with her. They're just not doing nothing with her, and not only are they doing nothing with her, they're not doing anything with Shayna Baszler or Bianca Belair either. Wonder when Bianca Belair and Shayna's contract up, because either they can go back to NXT or they could just go to promotions like AEW or Impact or Japan Wrestling, because WWE is just, I don't think WWE is perfect. It's a perfect wrestling promotion for them to be in, because at this point WWE is just not using them. You seen how Charlotte Flair buried the women's division, and now, speaking of Charlotte Flair, she's taking extended time from WWE. Thank God. I think I've already mentioned that. But anyways, oh my God, this 24/7 match was so dumb that a lot of people on Twitter said they wanted to pick up the remote control and turn the channel. That's how bad this match was. Honestly, I didn't give a shit about this match. I really didn't. Who gives a shit about this match? Who freaking cares? Who fucking cares? Really, who cares about this match? Nobody. Not even me. Who cares? Really. So here's what happened with this dumb creative decision 24/7 title matchup. They're making the 24/7 title look like it exists in the WWE instead of making the WWE Championship title the most important title in the business. The WWE title should be more important than the 24/7 championship. Now, that's true facts. I'm speaking true facts right there. Seems like they're making the 24/7 championship look important than they are making the WWE championship look important. The WWE championship should be the most important championship in all of WWE. Period. Regardless of what these clowns on Twitter say and what these retards on Twitter say. Alright, anyways. So here's what happens with this stupid 24/7 championship match. So here's what happened with the fucking joke Akira Tozawa with Ninjas versus R-Truth. So the match begins and Tozawa rolls Truth up for a 2 count. Truth does some dancing and asks Akira to do the same. He does some weird hand thing and runs at Truth, who sidesteps him. Truth feigns an injury and rolls up Tozawa for the win. This match was only 1 second, folks. Absolutely nauseating critic garbage. This match, absolutely nauseating garbage. This match was unreal. Why would you have a match on Raw to last 1 second? Really? Regardless, the 24/7 championship shouldn't be important. I would generally like to know why the 24/7 title is still a thing in WWE TV. Or on WWE TV. I can't possibly imagine anyone enjoying this shit because I'm not. JD from NY206, my buddy JD from NY206 is not enjoying it. And certainly the people that speak facts on Twitter, the people on Twitter that watch Raw are not enjoying it. Yet these clowns on Twitter, the retards, the clowns on Twitter are the ones that are enjoying this, I believe. They think it's funny to be watching this when they know it's clearly not. It's clearly not funny. The show was clearly a joke. This match was most definitely a joke. R-Truth is nothing more than a joke to me. Akira Tozawa, his ninja character, is nothing more than legit ninja garbage. So after the match, one of the ninjas run in and rolls up Truth, but he knocks out, or he kicks out. Then runs through the crowd to escape as the ninjas chase. That 24/7 championship match was absolutely nauseating garbage. Bobby Lashley is backstage with MVP, another Hall of Famer that should not be on television. Well, he's technically not, but another old talent that should not be on television. MVP. Number one, let me tell you a lot of reasons why the MVP shouldn't be on television. Number one, his fucking in-ring abilities and his skills in the ring are fucking garbage. Number two, his VIP lounge is absolutely garbage. Number three, his promos he cut in the ring, he does not do a good job as a manager cutting his promos in the ring. And number four, nobody wants to see MVP on WWE television. Nobody cares about the guy. Seriously. Stop putting MVP on WWE television. Even though I say it, WWE's not going to listen. We don't care about MVP. We don't want to see MVP on television. He is fucking garbage. Just like I say the same about Nia Jax. Just like Nia Jax. He's garbage just like Nia Jax. So Bobby Lashley is backstage with WWE's typical garbage MVP. And he says Apollo Crews turning them down was a slap in the face. MVP assures him he's done giving offers to Crews. MVP this, MVP that. I am tired of hearing MVP's name. I want to bury MVP's name in the freaking garbage. In the freaking garbage can is where I want to bury his name. I want to set it on fire. Because I'm getting tired of hearing MVP. MVP. Jeez, man. Sick of this. Unreal. Despite everything, he likes the kid. So he's going to drop some gems on him before he beats him. They walk off. And we see Seth Rollins standing with Murphy, holding Rey Mysterio's mask. He says this is his most important message to date, and he has to deliver it. Just like Monday Night Raw last night delivered us nothing more than main roster garbage. I don't even know why they're delivering. I don't even know why they're letting this Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins storyline continue. There's no need. This storyline, it's already absolute garbage. Nobody likes the storyline. Why are we seeing a Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio storyline? You're making Rey Mysterio look like a total joke, WWE. Come on, man. Seriously. You're making Seth Rollins' character look worse than what it's already been looking. He's not doing great. WWE's making Seth Rollins look worse in this storyline. Really. And what is WWE doing with Austin Theory? If they're not doing nothing with him, they need to put him back in NXT. And my question is, what is WWE doing with Murphy? I'm confused of what they're doing with Murphy and Austin Theory. Jeez, we need some information on that. It says later last night, it said we would see Big Show versus Andrade and Angel Garza in a handicap match. Hold on. Did they just say Andrade and Angel Garza again? You mean to tell me that Angel Garza and Andrade were in 2 matches last night? You mean to tell me they both were in 2 matches last night? Jeez, WWE was not opted to give them a break. Holy fuck, man. See, this is how you know the show was garbage. They put Andrade and Angel Garza in yet another match last night. Oh, don't worry, I watched it. I'm telling you right now, I desperately feel embarrassed as a fan to be watching these shows. I really do. I don't even have any more words to say, man. I really don't. These shows have got to get better, man. This is ridiculous. And I guarantee you, when this corona pandemic is over, the show's still gonna suck. Unreal. Seth Rollins and Murphy make their way to the ring. Those of you who are blind and who act like they don't know who Murphy and Seth Rollins are, those of you who don't know who Murphy and Seth Rollins are, let me show you exactly who they are. If I'm making sense. I should have never done this review. Should have never done it. I should have just never freaking done it. I knew that the show was going to be terrible. Can't even make these shows better, man. I don't get it. I just don't understand the logic of creativity. I just don't understand why Vince McMahon is acting like God. Seriously. He's not God! He's not. Vince McMahon needs to stop acting like God. He's not God. I'm going to keep saying it until he stops acting like it. Because he's not. He's really not God. If he was God, he would be creating this earth. He would be reading his Bible every day. He would probably be making the trees and the water grow. He would be creating this earth and dying on the cross for us if he was God. Trust me, Vince McMahon is not God. Especially when I saw that report saying that Vince McMahon doesn't think that the coronavirus is bad. Oh yeah, speaking of that, folks, be sure you check out my wrestling news on Vince McMahon and the corona situation. Be sure you check that out on my YouTube channel. I have those 2 wrestling news videos posted and released. And it includes what we had expected on Raw last night, and it's about Vince McMahon and the corona pandemic. So be sure you check those videos out on my YouTube channel. So anyways, continuing the review. So Seth Rollins and Murphy made their way to the ring. Last week, Seth and his son made a heartwarming return to Raw. Ray said nothing would stop him from returning to the ring, and he believes it because Ray has a duty to upload. But he has been seeing things clearly as of late. He says Ray's duty is to be a sacrifice for Monday Night Raw, just like Monday Night Raw needs to sacrifice by becoming a better show and not becoming Monday Night garbage. And he has given him every chance to walk. I've gave Vince McMahon 2 fucking chances to make these shows better, and he's not doing a dang thing to these shows. He's never even made these shows better. His creative ideas are not working, are not boosting up the Raw and SmackDown ratings. You see how much the ratings on Raw and SmackDown have increased. You've seen it. You've seen the report of how many times that the Raw and SmackDown ratings have increased. You've seen it. You've seen the numbers drop. The numbers just keep dropping. Keeps on dropping. The number of Raw, SmackDown ratings just keep dropping. Dropping. Because of Vince, man. Now, seemingly the NXT ratings have went up. Somehow Vince McMahon is involved, and somehow the ratings on NXT is going up. But when Vince McMahon's involved with Raw and SmackDown, the NXT ratings go down. I mean, the Raw and SmackDown ratings go down. So again, when Vince McMahon is involved with NXT, it seems like the NXT ratings go up. But when he's involved with Raw and SmackDown, it seems like the Raw and SmackDown ratings go down. Now, tell me. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me if that sounds strange to y'all. Or more like, I'll give you a better one. More like suspicious. I'm telling you, man, I'm fixing to start having my suspicions on Vince McMahon. I'm telling you right now. I got a feeling he's gonna be getting rid of more talent soon. Just got a feeling it's only a matter of time before it happens again. So, he has given him every chance to walk away on his own terms. Just like I've given WWE a chance to better these Monday Night Raw, SmackDown shows. Soon, I may not be giving them any more chances because I may stop watching WWE, period. Because I'm sick of this darn crap, man. Sick of these garbage Monday Night Raw and SmackDown shows. So, he has given him every chance to walk away on his own terms, but Ray defies him. So what he must do now is very important. Seth asks Mysterio to forgive him. Not for what he has done, but what he will do in the future. You see, him and Ray are bound by fate, and as fate would have it, he is the Messiah and Ray is a sacrifice. Mysterio and Dominique appear on the screen, and Ray says he wants forgiveness from his son. Forgive him for what he will do to Seth Rollins. He was angry when Dom tried to fight his battles, but he loves him for it. He must do to Seth something as remorseless as what he did to him. Eye for an eye. What he does will not be by fate. It will be by design. Dominique says he forgives him, but he can't forgive Seth. Rollins says it's clear Ray has taught Dom well, but he hasn't taught him to be careful what he wishes for. If Dom continues to stand in the way of fate, he'll be forced to end his career before it starts. Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo come out, and Seth hightails it. So they gave us Seth Rollins and Murphy versus Aleister Black and Humberto, like what JD says. Humberto, the loser. The loser. Yep. The motherfucking loser. Yep. He is the certified loser. Just like Enzo Amore was in his time in WWE. Enzo Amore. You know he was the loser in his time in WWE. Because Pete Dunne beat him on 205 Live. He actually defeated him on Raw in the United Kingdom, in the UK. Pete Dunne had his first match in his hometown on Raw when he beat Enzo Amore. But yeah, Humberto Carrillo's a certified loser like Enzo Amore. And then we got Aleister Black. WWE seemingly has stopped using on the show. I don't know. It just seems something not right about WWE not using Aleister Black. Just seems something just doesn't seem right about that. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I can't get out. I don't know what it is, but it's just something just not right. I don't think anything's right with Ms. McMahon. So the match begins with Murphy and Black. Murphy runs for a knee. But Black avoids it and starts kicking him. Black hits a big running kick. Seth comes in and Black drops him with a kick to the chest. Murphy backs Aleister into the corner and hits a super kick that knocks him out of the ring. Seth gets a tag and beats Black on the floor. Then gets him back in the ring. Hard Irish whip to the corner up from Seth. Then he tags Murphy and they beat Aleister down. Black creates some separation and tags Carrillo, who attacks Murphy. Carrillo hits a springboard crossbody for a 2 count. Then tosses a rushing Rollins to the floor. Carrillo heads up top for a missile drop kick. So yeah, I was thinking it said massive, but it said missile. Carrillo heads up top for a missile drop kick, and Murphy lands on the middle rope. Carrillo looks for a 619, but Seth pulls Murphy outside. Rollins gets on the apron, but Carrillo hits an enziguri, then dives over the ropes onto both of them. Back live, and Seth tags in, but Carrillo drops him. Both men make tags, and Black kicks Seth, then hits Murphy with forearms in a flurry of strikes. Carrillo blind tags in as Black drops Murphy with a big knee. Then Carrillo hits a 619 and Seth breaks it up. Rollins tosses Black outside and hits a suicide dive. Murphy hits a big knee strike to Carrillo, but Black makes the save. Murphy goes up top after dispatching Aleister, but Carrillo beats him up there. Murphy flips over and super kicks Carrillo through his own legs. Murphy lifts Humberto up in a powerbomb, and Seth hits a knee off the top rope for a near fall. Black and Murphy brawl on the outside, and Humberto rolls up Seth for a near fall. Rollins hits a stomp for the win. Man, I wasn't interested in watching this match either. Aleister Black's one of my favorite WWE male superstars, but I just wasn't interested in watching this match because the show was so bad that I just wasn't interested in watching it anymore. As soon as the pinfall is counted, Black runs in and attacks Seth. Murphy makes the save, and they toss Black to the outside, then into the timekeeper's area. Murphy grabs Humberto and takes him to the steel steps. Murphy hits him with the steps. Then Seth puts Ray's mask on Humberto and tries to blind him, but Black returns and fights them off. Seth manages to hit Carrillo with a stomp on the steps before retreating. Drew McIntyre and Asuka are interviewed backstage. Asuka talks Japanese and Drew translates for the Empress of Claymore Country. He says they're going to have fun with their opponents. He says he let Dolph choose the stipulation because then he will have no excuses. As for Sasha Banks, she's not ready for Asuka. The Empress smiles and says Dolph is not ready for Drew. So we see the tribute to The Undertaker from Friday Night SmackDown, followed by an incredible video celebrating the career of the greatest to ever do it. He really is the greatest to ever do it. So Lana walks up to Ruby Riott backstage, and she says she can't believe how rude the Iconics were. Ruby says, shouldn't she be off ruining someone else's career? Lana talks about how great Natalya is and how we should all be following her. So it went on commercial break. So it was Ruby Riott. Folks, I'm going to say this again. It was Ruby Riott, the woman that WWE is wasting on the women's Monday Night Raw roster. I feel so bad for Ruby Riott, man. I feel so bad for her. It's just not even funny, man. It's just not. It's not even fucking funny. Matter of fact, it ain't even funny anymore. Period. It's sad. Feel very upset and bad for Ruby Riott that WWE is wasting her. That's the exact same thing that's gonna happen to Bianca Belair and Shayna Baszler. I mean, that's exactly what's gonna happen to them. So here's what happened with the match between Ruby Riott and Peyton Royce. So the match begins with, and Kay instantly distracts Ruby, allowing Peyton to take her down and attack her left shoulder. The arm Ruby has had operated on. Royce forces Ruby to the corner and chokes her with a boot. Trying to get my words right. I'm not getting my words right today for some reason. Probably because how bad the show sucked. Ruby eats a kick and Peyton chokes her on the middle rope. Peyton applies a submission targeting the arm. Then hits a back suplex for a 2 count. Kay tries to give advice from outside. Peyton runs into the turnbuckles and Ruby hits some kicks and repeated forearms before hitting an STO for a 2 count. Kay causes a distraction and Royce rolls up Ruby for a near fall. Riott hits a crucifix pin for a 2 count and Royce hits a spinning brainbuster for the win. Folks. Ruby Riott has been fucking wasted for 3 years. 3 years. And now it seems the company is wasting her again. She needs to leave the company and go elsewhere if the company is not going to book her in matches, storylines, or use her right on WWE television on Raw. I mean, really, unreal. Unreal. I mean, it absolutely just makes no sense. No kind of sense at all. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Ruby Riott, all those years, for 3 years, has been wasted by WWE. Wasted because they're not using her. Unreal. Unreal, man. Unfucking real. Oh, and then, my question to you all is, when is Ruby Riott's contract up again? Holy shit. Imagine being off TV for months, folks. To lose someone who can't even run the ropes correctly. Which happens to be Peyton Royce. And correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't Ruby Riott a heel, folks? Now they're seemingly trying to turn her face. They're seemingly trying to turn her face to make us realize that, oh, Ruby Riott's turning face. Oh, we are not believing them. I am not believing them one bit. That's a bunch of BS. I'm not believing them. Yeah. So that was your match, folks. The one half of the members of the Iconics, the Moronics, the Idiotics, the don't get on my TV Onyx, get off my TV Onyx, Peyton Royce. Yep. I got nothing else to say. Nothing. Anyways, Charlie Caruso interviews Big Show. She asks if he thinks tonight's handicap match might be a trap with Randy Orton looming. Big Show says, of course it is. He loved Ric Flair for years, and when he got into the business, he learned that he really is the 30th player in the game. Now he's with Randy Orton, who has taken out a few legends already. He challenges Orton to come out and try him. Then says Angel Garza and Andrade are getting a big, angry giant tonight. Yeah, more like a big giant, more like the big, slow giant tonight. That's exactly what he was last night. A slow giant that was absolutely slow in the ring. So we got this boring ass handicap match that no one gave a shit about whatsoever. That no one was interested in. I wasn't even interested in watching it either. I don't even know why they got Big Show featuring on television. Why do they have Big Show? Why do they have these Hall of Famers on television? These Hall of Famers shouldn't even be used. They're retired. Big Show is a retired wrestler. Why the fuck is he on television? He's a retired wrestler that should not be on television. On WWE television. I don't get it. This angers me till this day. Why would they bring Hall of Famers back on television? This is the young generation that's supposed to be taking over, not the old generation, not the Attitude Era. Not the Attitude Era Hall of Famers, superstars are supposed to be taking over. It's the young generation. Superstars from NXT are supposed to be the ones taking over. Not the old talent. The young talent are the ones supposed to take over WWE. It seems like that seems to be the case. It seems like that doesn't seem to be the case. Doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like Vince McMahon wants the opposite. He wants the old talent to take over instead of the young talent to take over. That's just like, I want my friend to take over, but he doesn't want to take over. That's just like I want my friend to pick up my shoes, but he won't pick them up. That's just like asking my brother to order something and he says no. That's how bad. That's how fucking bad. That's how fucking bad this match was. Big Show's promos were bad. His promos were terrible. Oh my god, if I was a Big Show fan, I'd be embarrassed to be his fan, be a fan of him. I'd be embarrassed to be a fan of him. Because his promos were bad. Terrible promos. Terrible. When I mean terrible, his promos was beyond terrible. Ric Flair's promos in the ring were more terrible than Big Show's last night. Both of their promos were terrible. Both of their promos were terrible. So, here's what happens with the 2-on-1 handicap match. So, neither Andrade nor Garza wants to start the match. And Andrade tricks Angel into sliding inside. Big Show rips his shirt off and slaps his chest. Big Show drops Angel with a headbutt. Big Show tosses Angel out of the ring in front of Zelina. Angel tags Andrade in. Big Show forces him to the corner for a slap. Andrade rolls outside. The Big Show lifts him inside the head and throws him. Big Show lifts and slaps Andrade and then hits a running splash. Andrade tags Garza again and they manage to beat Big Show down, but quickly fall out and argue. This time it's Garza who leaves, allowing Big Show to hit Andrade with a chokeslam. So after the match, Big Show lifts Andrade up and hits him with a WMD. The WMD, folks. More like WMD main roster garbage. So he hits his WMD, a message to Rey Mysterio. Apollo Crews is warming up backstage with Cedric Alexander and Ricochet when R-Truth appears. Truth says he's finally got away from Tozawa and the ninja. Or did he? Akira starts sniffing Alexander, asking if he's a ninja. He calls Ricochet Rick-O-Shay and his partner Cedric the Entertainer. Really? Absolutely garbage. Wow. I felt even more embarrassed to be reading this. Folks, Ricochet is really at the bottom of the barrel, buried. Literally, nothing of importance in him. They might as well send his ass back to NXT, back to where he can rebuild himself. And to put the cherry on top of the cake, WWE released a tweet about Ricochet's documentary by saying Ricochet had an incredible year. Yeah, he had a bad year. He had an incredible year, and then he had a bad year. He's having a bad start already because of Vince. And dude, how the fuck was anybody watching this show last night? How the fuck was anybody watching this Monday Night Garbage last night? There was nothing great about the show, folks. And WWE's supposed to expect us to watch this fucking garbage show? Shit show? Really? Unreal. MVP and Lashley come to the ring. Oh god. Another fucking feud. Another fucking feud that nobody's interested in. Oh, great. Oh, fucking great. Terrific. Guarantee you they're gonna put the title on Bobby Lashley at Extreme Rules. I hope they don't, because Apollo Crews is doing good he's doing good as United States Champion. They don't need to blow this up for him. He's a mega star. He's a championship material. He's got the physique. He's a championship material. He's got the speed. He's got the strength. He's got the agility. Speed and agility, same thing. He's got all that. They just need to, it's only a matter of using Apollo Crews right on these shows. I'm getting sleepy. Now hurry up and fast forward this review. I need to hurry up and do this review so I can go to bed. I'm sleepy. I feel like falling asleep on this fucking review. So Lashley, MVP Lashley come to the ring. MVP says he can be an inspiration for people trying to get out of the hood. But what good is success if you don't give back? Which is what he's doing with Bobby Lashley, unlocking his limitless potential. And he tried to do the same for Apollo Crews. He won't be disrespected. Apollo comes out and says he didn't disrespect MVP. He says they're both self-made men. So don't stand there and give a speech about giving back. He says MVP should have listened when he turned him down. But he kept pushing and pushing. Because the only person MVP cares about is himself. MVP says he admires Crews' gumption. He admires Crews' gumption, but he's about to find out that he really doesn't want him as an enemy. So it's Apollo Crews versus MVP with Bobby Lashley. So the match begins, and MVP takes a headlock, gets shot off, and drops Apollo with a shoulder. MVP avoids a drop kick but misses a soccer kick and get dropped with a Hurricane Rana. Crews hits a military press and MVP rolls outside, then hits a top over the ropes onto Lashley. MVP sends Apollo into the steel steps. Back live from commercial break. It was a commercial break. Then when it came back from commercial break, MVP is on top of Apollo. Crews starts to fight back and beats MVP into the corner. Irish whip to the opposite corner. A running splash from Crews, followed by a spine buster for a 2 count. Apollo goes up top and Lashley causes a distraction, allowing the MVP to crutch him on the ropes, then hit a big boot and the fisherman suplex for the win. This was a terrible win for MVP. Told you MVP is not good in the ring. He's WWE typical garbage. Nothing more than that. So after the match, Apollo attacks MVP, so Lashley runs in, grabs him in the full Nelson. Alexander Ricochet run down and try to free Lashley off. They have to kick him to get him out of the ring. So it went on commercial break. So when it came back from commercial break, we got Ricochet with Cedric Alexander versus Bobby Lashley with MVP. So we join this match in progress as Lashley overpowers Ricochet and throws him off the top rope. Lashley shoulders him in the corner and hits a delaying vertical suplex for a 2 count. Lashley sends Ricochet out the ring, where MVP drops Ricochet on the commentary table behind the ref's back. Back in the ring, Ricochet fights back, but Lashley hits a power slam. And let me remind you how painful that power slam is. That power slam, folks, power slam is painful. Hitting a power slam on somebody in the ring would definitely damage your opponent's back. So he hits a power slam for a near fall. Lashley throws Ricochet across the ring and he rolls out of the ring to recover. Lashley goes out, scares Alexander off, and throws Ricochet on the floor. Lashley puts Ricochet on his shoulders and dives him head first into the ring post. Lashley gets Ricochet back in the ring and waits for him to get up. Lashley goes for a spear, but Ricochet collapses. Lashley then sets up behind him and goes for a full Nelson, but Ricochet fights it off. Lashley runs, but Ricochet pulls the top rope down to get Lashley out of the ring. Ricochet goes for a crossbody off the apron. Lashley catches him. Ricochet slides off and sends him into the ring post. Back inside, Ricochet hits a springboard moonsault for a near fall. MVP gets on the apron, but Alexander pulls him off. Ricochet hits Lashley with a enziguri and brings him to a knee with a super kick. Lashley blocks a kick to the head, smashes him with a one-armed spinebuster. Somewhere along the way, Lashley had his ear busted open. Lashley follows up with the full Nelson and Ricochet quickly taps out. And Bobby Lashley wins. After the match, Cedric comes in to check on Ricochet, and he too gets put in the full Nelson. So Dolph Ziggler's backstage with Bayley and Sasha Banks, and he's telling them he should take point. Sasha says the last time they saw him, he was being outsmarted by Otis. Bayley surges things, and he walks off to get ready. So folks, here we are at the main event. So this was the supposed main event of the evening. Main event of last night's evening. And I'm going to read this very fast. So keep up with me. I'm going to try to read this very fast anyway. Alright, hold on. Where's Sasha Banks? There he is. There she is. Let's get Dolph out here. So we got a mixed gender tag team match for the main event tonight. So here's what happened with the WWE Champion Drew McIntyre and Asuka, the Raw Women's Champion, versus Dolph Ziggler and one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions, Sasha Banks. The match starts with the men, and Dolph grabs a leg but gets lifted and thrown off. Ziggler backs into the corner and uses the ref to force the break. Ziggler shoots again, but Drew lifts him and throws him. Ziggler starts talking trash, but McIntyre chops him hard. Drew forces Dolph to the corner and chops him again, but Ziggler fires back and hits a famouser for a 1 count. Ziggler gets tossed to the corner and Banks attacks herself in. Drew must give way to the Raw Women's Champion Asuka, who gets into a shoving match with the boss. Banks ducks a back fist, but gets dropped with a shoulder tackle. Asuka looks for a hip attack, but Sasha dodges it. They both look for their finishers until Dolph runs in, as does Drew, and drops him. Asuka hits a spinning back fist, and the heels roll outside. Back live from commercial break, Ziggler is on Drew's back with a sleeper. The WWE Champion throws him off and into the corner, where he chops him silly. McIntyre looks for a reverse Alabama slam, but Dolph rolls down into a small package for a 2 count. Then hits a big DDT, and both men go down. Ziggler makes the tag, but Asuka comes at Banks with a knee to the jaw. Asuka hits a German suplex and a Shining Wizard for a near fall. Banks rolls outside till Asuka gets on the apron. Bayley distracts Asuka, allowing Sasha to swipe her feet, then hit a meteor on the floor. Back outside, Banks pins Asuka for a near fall. Back inside, Banks pins Asuka for a near fall. Banks gets cocky and stomps Asuka before hitting an overhead suplex for a 2 count. Banks goes to a rear chin lock as Bayley tells Byron Saxton he is almost worse than Michael Cole. Banks hits double knees in the corner for a near fall. Asuka hits double knees of her own and makes a tag to McIntyre, who comes in hot against Dolph with a lariat and a Bill. McIntyre hits an overhead belly to belly, then heads up top for an axe handle. McIntyre keeps up and Sasha tags herself in. Banks yells at Drew that he has to get out of the ring, and he does so after jabbing Dolph off the apron. Asuka head kicks Banks for a near fall. On the outside, Drew gets Dolph on his shoulder and tries to lawn third him into the ring post, but Dolph slides off and shoves the psychopath into the post. In the ring, Banks locks in the bank statement, but Asuka breaks free. Asuka applies the Asuka lock, but Banks rolls backwards and scores the pinfall. So the winner is Dolph Ziggler and Sasha Banks. So they win before both of their matches at Extreme Rules. I guess, and that gives them the advantage. And Raw went off air after that. Folks, my thoughts on Raw. This show was confusing. The show was awful. It was terrible. And it was absolutely nauseating garbage. Like it's always been every Monday night. Yeah, everybody watches this Monday Night Raw show every Monday night. So, This show was nothing more than a shit show, absolute nauseating garbage. So, folks, this is the end of your June 29th, 2020 Monday Night Raw review. If you got any questions, comment down in the section below. If you have any questions about last night's Monday Night Raw show. So, folks, before I end this live stream, be sure you hit that like, subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications. So, folks, you have a good rest of y'all's Tuesday. And please, whatever you do, make sure you wear your mask to public stores and to other public places. It's important to wear a mask because I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm going to tell y'all some sad news before I end this live stream. My father got the virus a few days ago. So that's how you know this corona pandemic is getting worse. Yes, he got the virus because he hasn't been wearing a mask. I encourage you all to wear your mask. Do not go to public without your mask. It's not good to go public without your mask, especially when this corona pandemic is still around. This Sahara clouds, those Sahara dust clouds from Africa is still spreading around too, across the country. So be careful with that too. So folks, like I said, it's important to keep your mask on. Hopefully soon, folks, when the corona pandemic is over, hopefully this shows will get a whole lot better, which I don't think these shows will never get better, even if the corona pandemic is over, even if even if the WWE is going to start having fans live in attendance, the show is still not going to get any better. So folks, I'm getting the hell out of here. Have a good day. Be tuning in for my NXT review, because I will be reviewing NXT. I will be reviewing NXT as soon as NXT goes off air. Or as soon as I watch NXT. As soon as I get done watching NXT Wednesday, I will be doing my NXT review Wednesday night. So be looking out for that. And be on the lookout for my wrestling news videos that I'll be uploading and releasing tomorrow. Right here on my YouTube channel. Folks, have a good rest of your Tuesday.